was going to happen throughout the course? How much was fixed, and how much did you let it loose each year?
It was pretty well structured, pretty well outlined. The whole thing, I knew the end. I knew, I'm a big believer in a solid structure. So that was kind of macro, micro. Big structure, consistent architecture never changed. Knew the last shot of the movie, probably year 2 or 3. Just was all thinking ahead, but it was all really fixed. But then each year it was kind of like writing, 12 different scripts. Just each year, kind of producing a new set of ideas for what went on in that year, so within the structure. So.
Great. Okay. Questions for Eller and Rick. We'll start with you.
Okay, Mr. Wickler, I really liked this film and also the Before Sunrise trilogy, but I hope to see where Mason Sr. made Mason take the president sign, made him look somewhat intolerant.
Taking the McCain sign. Like he says, sometimes you gotta fight. It's in the trenches. No, I don't know if it's intolerant. I don't know if that fits my tone. Petty vandalism, maybe. Somewhere in that area. But he could have been shot. The other neighbor was. It's a brave act, actually.
Okay, in the back row.
Hi. Thanks. It was extremely moving, powerful. I think I noticed the liquor store guy. I think he was the guy from Dazed and Confused. Is that correct?
It's still like selling to minors and being liquor store guy.
And Mona Lee.
Yeah.
And then the Continental Club. So I get the question is, did you make an effort to sort of go back through your life? Were there other things where you showed the passage of time was just an Easter egg? Oh,
yeah, probably more in the Easter egg category. Friends, actors you work with over the years, if you have a good heart for them, and just call them up and say, hey, I want you to come play. Don't think about it too much. But, the town I'm in, I end up shooting in certain locations over, but there's no real meaning to it other than it's convenient,
Yes, in the middle.
Obviously, music plays a huge role in the film. What was your process in selecting the music for the film?
Yeah, the music was I always knew it would be a big thing, but we got to kind of wait till the end. I'd say the last 3 years we started really concentrating on the music. So it was good to have that gestation time to see how certain songs resonated years later. And I was surprised. I was thinking score early on. I was working with a composer, and it just didn't work. Nothing. I found that only songs from those years would work. Any kind of score felt too authorial, like there was someone behind leading you. The film couldn't really withstand that. For the same reasons, there's no sign saying, "Oh, it's now 2007," or that wasn't the way you were supposed to experience it. So there were a lot of surprises. I wouldn't really predicted a lot of this. But.
Did you talk to your cast each year during the shoots about music, or did that all come at the end?
I would try. I would ask Eller, what are kids listening to these days? What is an 8-year-old? What do you hear? And his taste was so far beyond. He's like, oh, Pink Floyd right here. This Machine. His taste was so far beyond your average 7-year-old.
Lorelai's listening to harpsichord.
Yeah, she was a medievalist, and just no help whatsoever. And I thought I would, so. Had to go to outside consultants.
I'll mention quickly, if you want to go home with the soundtrack in your pocket, the concession stand can help you out. Yes, right here.
One quick anecdote in that question. So I've been interviewing roommates, and I talked to this woman who I just watched Slacker a couple weeks ago in preparation to come see this. And so So Janelle Coolidge was the shut-in girl in Slacker, and we met, and she just said to tell you hello.
She's still in Michigan?
No, she's here in New York.
Oh, she is?
Yeah,
wow.
She works in sales. So. I had a question for Eller, or kind of a two-part question, which is, through the process, did you go back and watch the rushes from earlier years as you got older to see yourself in terms of thinking about
I never saw any of it until it was done.
Wow. Okay. And what did you learn about acting through the process? Do you feel like I'm just
I mean, everything.
Yeah.
So I didn't mean to laugh, but
Yeah.
it's everything. I mean, I wasn't a trained actor at all, and I mean, I'm not saying I am now, but I have a lot of experience at this point.
Yeah. Working with Patricia and Ethan, and you're an actor.
You absorb a lot.
Did you do any work in between the shoot?
Not really. I had been in a couple of kind of indie things in Texas before we started, but I think I just kind of stopped trying at a point. I kind of just felt like, I needed to put all of my attention on this project, because I think it would have, the same way it would have changed my experience to see any of the footage throughout. If I had been in like a starring role in some film that had been released, it would have changed my performance, I think. So
Thanks.
In the,
I don't know. We'll see.
in the back row.
Another movie, hopefully.
I'm curious to know what made you choose to explore the perspective of the boy instead of the sister, and how much of it is part of your own experience growing up, and another reason why you chose to explore the perspective of the boy.
Well, I think part of the answer to that is in the second part of the question. Like, my experience as a boy probably is the reason it's a boy's perspective. Like, I felt confident that I knew that perspective of a younger sibling I had two older sisters, and I don't know, it was his perspective, but I think films need that. They need some point of view, but it could easily be called, about something about the family or motherhood, or it is girlhood, I think, to a large extent, particularly the first half of the movie, I think. But it's really, Boyhood still works because it is his perspective. But I guess I just felt confident in that. So.
Yes, on the aisle.
I'm just wondering what the pitch is to Eller and his parents in sex. How do you know you're going to keep this guy?
It was bizarre. Yeah, it was such an odd request. We were casting. I'm working with a casting director that I've worked with before, and you put out like, okay, well, this is once the film's going, we're financed, and I've got Patricia and Ethan aboard, and it's like, okay, we're looking for the kid, and I wanted, actors, kids who had, agents, headshots, resumes. I mean, if I didn't find it there, I would keep looking, but I felt that was a good start because it showed that they had enjoyed that process. They had family support to do that. If I scooped a kid off, the street somewhere, and 3 years in, it's like, he never wanted to do this. So at least if he was, had stepped into the arena for whatever reason. So it was a volatile element because we found out, you can't really contract anyone in our world, or in our culture anyway here, to do anything for more than 7 years. So obviously it's a huge leap, which is a good thing. Particularly, I think anything to do with a kid, but obviously we're the family, it's a family decision, so I really got to know the parents. Eller remembers, coming back, it was a long audition process, a lot of callbacks. So I was just, it was such a big decision. And I met a lot of really good kids, really smart, good actors, the same thing, but Eller overall was the way to go. I just liked the way he was like the coolest of them. Talking about, music, movies, and just like the way his mind worked. But his parents are cool. His parents are both artists. His dad's a musician. I think it didn't hurt. He was in a band that I liked a lot in the 90s. It was just kind of, it was a family choice. We're going to kind of be family members all these years, and we were, and it worked great, I felt. So.
What if he decided for 4 or 5 years in, I don't really want to do this anymore?
Yeah, well, we wouldn't be here today in the same way, I don't think. But I mean, my assumption was it would be a fun thing to do every year. That's what I was planning anyway.
It was.
Yeah, the kids like movie sets. There's a lot of food around. There's a lot of, people doting on you, giving you a lot, So.
Yes, on the aisle over here. Or, yes, sir.
It's actually kind of two-part. The Star Wars comment on the campfire, was that something that you guys just had so much conversation, and then when they decided to give JJ and you're like, oh, let's cut this in there?
I was just geeking out about Star Wars. Now it's a joke.
He gets a smile now, but in 2008, when we shot that That was
just
just
that was
future
just our
theory.
thoughts.
Yeah. Eller actually was playing that game and theorizing about if there was another movie. So let's make a scene about that.
And Eller, what's it like to see it? To see your life, literally, just like what? I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. It's so surreal. It's hard to describe, but it's kind of comforting in a way, and it's something I've obviously wondered about for a long time, and I had this kind of it was a reflection to go back to, but now it's like it's solidified. So I don't know. It's beautiful.
I worried. I mean, like, wow, this will be a big thing. I mean, over the years, I felt, well, he's getting all the good things, the artistic outlet, the collaboration, all the fun things of a production, but the film, there's no end product, and it's so far away. But I worried about him and Lorelai, because they're in a unique position, that they're represented. I mean, it's not them, it's not a documentary, but that's what they look like through the most you ever develop in your life, all those years. It's a pretty powerful thing. So I was concerned, but I thought, well, at least they'll be adults, young adult mindset. They're not a more vulnerable little kid, but it's still a tough thing. I gave a DVD to Eller and just said, I suggest you watch this alone and build up your own relationship with this. So. And I didn't hear from him for a long time.
Did you watch it alone?
Several times. Took me a couple days to recover the first time.
Yes.
Ella, what about your life was like? What Mason's life was like?
Very little, actually. As far as his actual, his experiences and his kind of social life and his family, all of that was really different for me. But that said, emotionally, the things that he experiences, even if this situation is different, I was always able to find something very direct in my life to relate his emotional experience to and kind of pull information to, flesh out the character and the dialogue. So I don't know. It both is and isn't. There's a lot of me in the character, but it's also was completely foreign. To go and be in school and have this very traditional kind of social group, in the film, which I never really had growing up. So.
Couple more. Yes, sir.
I was wondering in what ways do you guys feel you matured artistically throughout the process or throughout the 12 years, and how that changed throughout the film?
Matured artistically throughout the process? Well, maybe you should answer that. You certainly did. I didn't. I didn't want the film to change, so I wanted to feel like one thing.
Rick doesn't grow up.
Yeah, I matured or evolved. Not at all.
I don't know. I did. I don't know specifically how, but I just learned, how to collaborate and how to throw myself into an artistic process. And I think it was a large part of why I was able to become so lost in it, just because, like you said, the idea of it actually being done and this happening was so distant and became sort of abstract. So it was all about what we were doing in the moment.
It didn't feel like a movie. Most movies should
that's how everything
have an
be.
intention, or at least it's nearby. You're trying to make the best movie you can, but there's people or forces not so far away that, by the way, you have a release date. Oh, by the way, all these whatever pressures. None of that. Just absolutely none of that. It didn't even feel like a movie. It was just something we did every year that meant more and more to us, the more we did it.
Time for one last question. We'll go over there.
When it came to casting Patricia and Ethan, were they completely on board right away? Did you have other people in mind, or they were your first?
Right away. The only two people I talked to. Ethan I'd worked with before. I was here in town, and I just, we were sitting in a cafe or something, and I was just started talking to him about it, and he just got this weird look on his face. Yeah, I want to. I'm like, God, think what we could do with that. Same with Patricia. I had only met her once, maybe 6 years before, briefly at a thing, but I always liked her a lot. And I knew she had been a mom young, in her life, and I thought that was important. So I just called her up, kind of out of the blue. I tracked down her phone number from a friend and just called her. And she remembers saying, yeah, rather quickly. But I mean, we talked for 2 hours. It was just kind of vague, and we started talking about our moms and life and what this could be. But yeah, she, in that one phone call, she was in. I mean, same kind of reaction, like, wow, look, what would that be? You know, artists get it. You know, they were like, oh, what a unique way to tell a story. But that was the fun part. You know, getting it financed or all the practical sides is kind of a whole other thing.
Well, unfortunately, we're going to have to bring it to a close here. I want to ask you guys a favor. This is an independently produced, independently released film. Needs your help. I'm guessing you're all still here. Probably most of you like the movie pretty well, so please tell your friends, use social media to get the word out. The movie's going to be playing all across the country within a couple weeks. And you can tell your special friends that there's one show left with these guys in person with tickets for sale. That's at 10:45 tonight. If you want to tell any of your friends to come snap those up. Thanks for coming.
8 hours.
Guys, thank you.